Hi there, my name is Michelle Fitzgerald and I'm the Training Director of the Senzar Learning Center. The Senzar Learning Center produces online training programs on metaphysical topics, wide range of metaphysical topics, and one of those subject areas is subtle energies. Subtle energies can range anywhere from things like invisible electromagnetic fields in the environment, from things like your cell phone, the lamp in the living room, that type of thing, to invisible energy fields that exist above underground water, or fault lines, ground faults that might be running under your house. Subtle energies include things like thoughts. Thoughts are a form of subtle energy. The emotional energy is a form of subtle energy. So we have a wide range of training programs that relate to these and many other topics. But today I want to talk to you a little bit about a very particular subtle energy field that has really grabbed my attention, and I've been focusing a tremendous amount of time learning more about this particular subtle energy in the last 7 years than most of the other subtle energy topics that I have a lot of knowledge about already. This involves the subtle energy field that is created, the magnetic field in particular, that is created by the human heart, by literally the activity of the heart, the blood flow through the heart, the beat of the heart. That beat of the heart creates electrical waves, and related to that are magnetic waves that create a magnetic field. I'm going to tell you a story of something that happened to me in my life that was very, very significant and caused me to get so interested in this particular subtle energy field. And then I'm going to share with you why you might want to start paying attention to this field as much as I'm paying attention to this field today. About 7 years ago, I really was at the top of my game. Things were going really, really great for me in all categories of my life. I was in a great relationship, making tons of money, at beautiful homes. I live in Sedona, Arizona. I don't know if there's a better spot on the planet. I don't know where it is. Really vibrant health, energy, just incredible. Everything going great for me. And almost overnight, everything collapsed. I had truly what I classify as a major life crisis. My health just very rapidly deteriorated. I developed extreme chronic fatigue, really excruciating pain all over my body, fibromyalgia and then some. Mental, trouble staying focused, fuzzy brain. I call it the fuzzy brain phenomena. Drink 100 cups of coffee and you can't get a clear head. Memory problems. My relationship, I was in a great relationship, that fell apart. Financial problems, my income, my substantial income dropped 70%, 70%. And my business just really started having trouble. I was having difficulty running my business. Now, I want to preface this with that there was no logical reason for this. There was no logical, measurable reason in the seen and logical world that this should be happening to me, especially all of this at one time. From a business perspective, I know how to manage a business. I've been self-employed for over 35 years successfully. And I mean, everybody's got their ups and downs, but overall, I've been successful in the arena of self-employment for a very long time. And I became literally incapable. The thing that scared me the most, that really alarmed me the most in all this, is that I seem to be incapable of actually shifting the circumstances. And this was alarming to me because I'm a master at shifting circumstances. I spent most of that 35 years, and then some, far more than 35 years actually, in the manifestation business. I owned a sales training company in the San Francisco Bay Area where I helped companies harness the power, of their thoughts and focused intention, and charge that with emotional energy and stay at task and accomplish great goals. skills. I later went in and started a training company that had a metaphysical and spiritual focus to it, but I was basically doing the same thing. I was teaching people how to use the subtleties and the well-known aspects of law of attraction principles, really master their law of attraction principles by working with the basic ideas that many people know, and then a lot of subtle energy things that the general public really doesn't know that you can add to the law of attraction mix to really get extraordinary results. But I know so much about manifestation to the point that I was teaching other people, thousands and thousands of other people over the course of my career, how to manifest that which they want, or how to shift negative circumstances that have entered their life. Yet I could not shift anything that was going on with me. And I began to question if I ever really understood the manifestation process, because I was having such a lack of success turning any part of that gigantic problem around. Well, it took about 14 months, but I finally did figure out what was going on. And what was going on related to the quality and the general organization, or I'll call it integrity and strength, of the magnetic field that was being created by my heart. Unbeknownst to me, my symptoms began when the magnetic field of my heart basically collapsed. It went from, we'll say, 100% high function, optimal function, or even 70, 80% optimal function of what that field should be like in a healthy person, and where everything physically and energetically is going right for that person. And it collapsed to about 4 or 5% of its optimal function. And it ended up that was what was behind. It was literally the root of everything I just told you. Now, it took me a while it took me 14 months to figure out what was going on. And I'm a professional intuitive. I teach people, part of what we teach at the Sensar Learning Center, in addition to subtle energies, is we teach people how to cultivate high levels of intuitive capacity, and how to use that intuitive capacity for very, very practical and beneficial purposes. Well, I used those very skills in my feeble little way at that point, because I was so broken down at that point, but I used my intuitive skills to figure this out, and then was able to apply my discovery, what I discovered had happened to me, and figure out solutions. And today, I mean, you look at me, I'm recovered, I'm vibrant again, I'm healthy. My finances are back on track. My company's doing fantastic, all this kind of stuff. So, but the root of it all was the condition of the magnetic field of my heart. Now, that's not all, because it wasn't just me. I had friends, I had students, I had clients that all of a sudden, and I'm not going to say it was like a day, overnight, literally, that this happened. But when I say all of a sudden, I mean this happened really rapidly to people. Within a matter of months, or within a matter of a year, they started having a lot of the people I knew started having significant problems in key areas of their life where they were really doing exceptionally well. Many of these people are master manifestors themselves, like me, and they started having difficulty shifting circumstances and achieving their goals, whereas before they were just achieving goals like this. It all tracked back with them as well, that it was the impairment, perhaps not as significantly as the impairment that happened to my heart, but the impairment of this magnetic field that surrounds the heart. So once I figured that out, I was able to piece together, okay, what has caused that? I used my intuitive, I'll call it Sherlock Holmes ability, and I figured out what had caused my problem. I worked with hundreds of clients that were having symptoms that matched some of the things I had observed in myself, figured out what had caused their problem, what had caused the impairment in their magnetic field, and was able to figure out how to come up with ways to boost the field back up. And here we are today, all of us recovered at this point. But it was so impacting on my life, and the cause of the problems was so it was in the invisible realm. It's not something that the average person would actually ever be able to figure out what's wrong with them. And so anyway, I'm sharing this story with you today. I'm going to end this video at this point, and I'm trying to pique your interest with this video. I'm going to do another video for you, and I'm going to share with you the 3 primary areas that I think that in my observation at this point, and again, I've been now really focused on this for about 7 years and uncovering all the little pieces, and I know that there's still a lot more to learn, but I know enough that I'm able to share with people some of the things that they should be mindful of and that they should start doing as practical action steps to keep this field in top form, because you definitely don't want to have happen to you what happened to me, and in fact, you do not even want a little piece of what happened to me happening to you. Setting the downside, setting the negatives aside, it ends up that this field has a big upside. It helps us with some really important things in life. So even if you're not having negative symptoms at this point, if you don't have a really strong field, because you can go a while, some people can go for years actually with with a significantly impaired field before they'll start seeing major health concerns, major problems with finances, things like that. So it affects us in ways that we're not able to create as positively as we could if this field was in good shape. So again, there's an upside and there's a downside. You want to get the upside by having a strong field. You want to avoid the downside by having a strong field. So I'm going to share with you 3 key areas that I think the field is primarily helping us with. And then I'm going to give you just a really quick look at some of the things that are causing this that I've discovered and that are really behind this with the majority of people. And what are some really basic, easy action steps that you can take to help boost your field back up and help make sure, even if you can't see this, even if you're not intuitive and you can't sense this like I can, that you could just start doing it. It's not that hard to boost this field back up and keep it in really great shape. So I'll see you in just a few minutes. I'm going to take a little break and I'll be back for the second part of the program, okay?